that when I was in. Hey, wait, we're on.
Oh, wait, are we live?
I think we are.
We're live? All right.
All right. Hey, guys, welcome. I'm Jeff DeVerter.
I'm Kent Kingery.
And we are
the Cloudists. Oh, that was even with that rehearsal. That was fantastic. So.
All right. So guys, we're really glad that you're here. And welcome to what we like to call the dress rehearsal.
The dress rehearsral.
So our producer, good friend, wearer of mustaches for both of us, Alan Bush, said that we've been on his show a few times, and then maybe we should get together with you guys and talk to you on a semi-regular basis. And so we can
consider we talk to ourselves all the time.
Might as well talk to you. And 7 lights around us. And really just talk about things from a cloud perspective, which of course is why we called it the Cloudists.
Cleverly named.
But the name wasn't available that I really wanted, and that was the Cloud Kitchen.
The Cloud Kitchen.
Yeah, it's where things aren't quite made. Sometimes there's a finished pie.
Sometimes
it's where everybody likes to gather.
The Cloudists, though, sounds so much more.
It is
futuristic and formal, like we're launching.
That's often what I think of when I think of you.
Futuristic and formal.
Yeah.
You don't know
the earrings.
Well,
so we get together, and granted, a lot of this conversation, a lot of this cloud thought is going to be from very much a Microsoft cloud perspective, but it's certainly not holistically only going to be that. Right. It's our intent to really help, point out what's going on in the cloud today. We want to help you guys understand, what's happening in the news, what new technology or capabilities are there. Want to help you be better at cloud and help your apps be better in the cloud as well.
Absolutely.
And so we've known each other a little while. 11 years?
11 years.
We'll call it 11. SharePoint 2007 was what you
Moss, M-O-S-S. Don't let the moss grow on you.
And that was at a previous employer, great employer. And
that for me was a few previous employers.
It was. You bounced a little. And so you came in, you're working with a consulting company. I was enterprise architect over there and helping us get deployed. What we realized was while you came in and were incredibly helpful in getting that going, we realized we got along.
Yeah. We actually had a lot of the same likes and dislikes that we found ourselves, again, kind of sitting around talking about this kind of stuff anyway.
Right. And so you came to that point, though, 10, 11 years ago with a bit of history in technology.
A little bit.
So I want you to tell us a little of that story. And I ask you to do that because, as we look at that pace of change over that span of time, a lot of time, that change is happening a lot faster. The difference is in the amount of time, how fast that's happening is happening, very fast.
Aren't you glad this is a sneak preview so that you can go?
Because I can actually go bring my tongue to the next show since I forgot it today. So Kent, tell us a little bit about that history.
Let's just start by saying this is my 34th year in IT service delivery.
I bet you there's people watching, or at least pretending that they're watching,
that aren't even that old.
34.
Exactly. I told somebody the other day, I have ties older than some of the people I work with. I started my career with IBM straight out of school. The very first computer that I ever touched was a MITS Altair that my father brought home, and this was in the 70s, and it was an amazing piece of hardware. The very first personal computer I ever owned was an Apple II, not a 2E, not a 2 Plus, but a 2 with a whopping 48K of memory and the 5 1/4 inch floppy drive.
So it did have that. You didn't
it did have the floppy.
Well,
we finally got the floppy drive. Originally, we were playing air traffic controller loaded off of a cassette.
Saved to cassette.
Yeah. In fact, I still have that computer, and it's still runs today.
Disturbing.
It is. And then I sort of progressed through, the IBM PC days, mini computers, mainframes.
Yeah.
And I remember doing a presentation, probably my last year at IBM, which would have been 1990-ish. And we were doing a presentation at White Plains, which was IBM's headquarters, saying, hey, eventually what's going to happen is your mainframe is just going to be another peripheral to my computer, and computers are going to be connected everywhere. And even then we already knew about, what we call the internet. We had access to it. I had Gopher and Archie and that kind of stuff at IBM because being the kind of company that we were connected to all of those systems. Yeah. And here we are, we roll forward later, and now we've got the internet. We've got this thing that we call cloud. But you know what? In many respects, it's just like being back in the time-sharing days, right? Remember, time sharing, where somebody bought a big computer and carved it up and basically gave the ability to parcel that out to people to years.
Sounds an awful lot like cloud.
It does. Now, granted, the cloud is way more sophisticated, the amount of control that you have, the technological advances, et cetera. We have come an enormous way in 30 plus years, right? But in some ways, it's stayed the same. It's still all about the applications, still all about enabling the business, and still all about trying to do all this at a reasonable cost to the business and to the consumer.
But if we fast forward and talk about what has really changed then, so you've talked about what's the same, let's talk about what's different. So in those days, to get one of those environments up and going, how many millions of dollars would it have been?
Oh my gosh. I mean, the first mainframe I sold that I helped sell in 1987 or 88 was $70 million just for the mainframe.
It's more than you could put on your diners club.
More than several diners clubs.
Yes.
Yeah.
But not today. So contrast that. You talk about the application and helping people be successful with their technology. Today, well, we're going to talk about this later. Today, at least, you can whip out your credit card, swipe it, and very quickly having a complete production environment up for any number of applications.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I run a couple of things in Azure today, and the total monthly cost for me to run those is somewhere in the $40 to $50 range. I mean, I'm not doing a lot.
Right.
I'm not running a manufacturing facility. I don't have thousands of individual users, but I've got a few websites and a few microservices that are up and running. It costs me, a few tens of dollars a month.
Somebody else's computer.
Yeah.
Makes it nice. So, we've talked. I guess I didn't tell you who I was as much.
You didn't.
At least my history. I said, my name's Jeff DeVerter. I work here. Well, we should also talk about where we work because they are our sponsors today because they let us sit in this room and breathe their air and use their internet. Rackspace.
Rackspace.
You've been at Rackspace almost 2 years. Well, 2 years. So
2 years in May.
2 years in May. And in May, it'll be 9 years for me. 9 years. For like a lot of folks in technology, every couple of years, you start to get that itch of, what else is there to do? I got to Rackspace and I was 2.5 years in and I thought, I forgot to get ANSI. I kind of like it here.
Yeah.
This works. So I came to Rackspace, almost 9 years ago now, to launch our single tenant SharePoint offering. And then I've launched a bunch of other Microsoft-y stuff. And so then today I am what they call the chief technologist over our Microsoft offerings.
The chief technologist.
Isn't that awesome? So that brings us to the first kind of audience participation thing that we want you to communicate with us here, because Alan will answer the phone. You just dial in. The number you can see is not listed across the bottom because we don't have one. We have to give Kent a new title.
This is a budget operation.
A new title.
That's why we're asking for a new title.
So we will have email addresses. We do actually have the domain secured, thecloudists.com. It'll take you all of nowhere right now, so don't go there. But next week we'll have email addresses and all that sort of thing. But you're going to be Kent. I'm going to be Jeff at thecloudists.com.
Perfect.
But we need to give Kent a new title. I'm thinking, cloud practitioner, something I've referred to him as in front of friends and family.
I like that one.
Strategic cloud architect. Not bad. Not bad. Has that buzzword feel, which I like. And then there's my favorite, head cook and bottle washer, which means about as much as the other two.
That probably really describes my role more accurately than anything else.
Probably. Isn't it coffee time?
Yeah. Well, that's how we have the coffee mugs cleaned everywhere. I mean, I'm in there scrubbing them.
Tim, you see it works late.
I'm always, absolutely.
Which is fun. All right. So, think about that. I know it's going to keep you up nights until we give you the address to communicate with us. But for now, just send a note over to Jeff at thecloudists.com, and maybe by this afternoon it'll be
there. Keep getting it bounced back. Just keep resending it. Just keep resending it.
Because apparently you can spin up mail servers instantaneously.
That's what I've heard.
Office 365 is great for that. It's a personal endorsement. All right. So this show is going to be very episodic. I like that word. It was one you used the other day, so I just was stealing it. And so going to follow a pretty consistent format, as much as anything we can do is consistent. And so in the beginning, introductions, kind of some fun banter, some what's going on. Get some.
We'll have catchy theme music.
There will be lower thirds. Doesn't that look good right now? Right now it's in transparent mode, so
absolutely.
It's harder to see. And then we're going to get into news, because news in a lot of cases it's a good window into what's going on, and we'll help you interpret that news into how it can help you technology. Now, I will also say this is a completely politics-free zone, so that news will only be technology related and then affect you individually. So not news like what we're all suffering through right now. That's no fun.
There are plenty of other places to go hear that kind of news.
Yes, go elsewhere.
Yep.
Or just don't.
Yep.
Tips and tricks, next section. We want to give you some ideas of how to be more successful and do things inside of predominantly Azure, but not exclusively. It'll be very cloud. It won't be very cloud agnostic, but it'll be very Azure centric. So if you bleed AWS, you're going to shoot your dark.
I don't know. We might surprise you every once in a while. We might talk about some
people.
Right? We might do that. Yep.
Sort of thing. I think that would be fun. But, I just said invite some people in. In fact, we're going to do that almost every week, or at least as often as we can bribe someone to, starting next week. Our first official, what do we call this? Is this a netcast? Is this, it's not a podcast because there's video. Webcast?
I don't know.
Our cast.
Show.
It's a
next
show. Week's show. Hey, maybe we should do a vote for what do we call it? Netcast, webcast, show. Send an email to Kent at thecloudist.com. And
maybe it'll get there
later today.
Yeah.
What was I going to talk about? Guests. Todd Clint.
You're able to get Todd Clint to be on our show. What the heck?
Yeah, I told him I'd write him a check.
Wait a minute. Wait. I want to know, is he going to cook a chicken when he's on our show? I really want to know that.
Well,
because I've heard a lot about that.
There was a bet last time. This was out at the Ignite conference, Microsoft conference last fall. And that was, if you could stump the chump, he'd cook a chicken on the conference floor. Apparently he knew all the answers. So there was no chicken. So maybe we can get him.
I'm thinking we better fire up the rotisserie.
Because that takes us to kind of what we'll have as a main topic each week. And that main topic is going to deal with the meat of the matter that we want to share with you. Next week, as we think about all things cloudy, one of the first things you have to think about is identity.
Yep.
And so identity from a Microsoft perspective is Active Directory. It's Azure Active Directory in this context. And Todd was very instrumental in getting this company here, Rackspace, thinking about what we do with a lot of our products and even creating a product offering that would help customers solve for that.
Right.
So he's going to tell us a little bit of that story. He'll tell us some jokes, and it'll be fun. So
yeah, we'll
look forward to that.
Look, he's top notch.
So ideally, each week we'll have that. We'll have somebody come in and help us out a little bit, give a little legitimacy to our tomfoolery.
Good.
Which would be nice. Good. All right, so that's the format. That's what we're going to do. So why don't we step through that today and pretend like this is an actual episode?
I do the whole bitty in the news.
Wait, Alan. What Alan?
What?
He said yes. That's a good idea.
He said a good idea.
Yeah,
okay.
Alan, the producer. Yeah, we're going to get him a rubber chicken. All right, so we've done introductions. That's who we are. So let's move into the news.
Great.
What's going on in the news?
Couple of things happening this week. Oxfam has just announced that they are moving into Azure pretty heavily.
What's an Oxfam?
Their plan. Oxfam is a UK-based charitable organization, operates in about 90 different countries. It's a tremendous organization that works to reduce poverty. It's just kind of their mission in life.
It's a great mission.
And, like many nonprofits, many sorts of groups like that, they have IT demands, and they're no different than anybody else. But they are now seeing the power of the cloud, especially given their geographic reach, et cetera, being able to move that in. And so their plan is over the next 10 months, not 10 years, 10 months, they're going to migrate all their applications and systems into Azure. And the beauty of it is our sponsor, Rackspace, is helping out with that through fanatical support for Azure.
Awesome.
It's a huge opportunity.
That's huge. Yeah, I was aware of this pursuit as it was going on.
Yep.
And, they really did their due diligence. But what's exciting, and this is, I think, a big part of why Kent and I wanted to do this show, netcast, whatever we call it, is that what is the most exciting thing I think about my job is the ability to see how customers are using technology, not for technology's sake necessarily, but for how they're using technology to change their businesses. In the case of Oxfam, to change the world.
Change lives. Absolutely. Yeah.
You joke about, hey, let's go change the world. These guys they are.
These guys are really doing it.
They're doing it. So that's exciting. Lots of, there's a press release about it out there. If you even just go to news.google.com or Bing or Bingle and search on Azure and Microsoft, they're in the top couple. You'll see them right up there. Read that press article. It's good stuff.
And I wouldn't want to leave the geeks out. So the other news topic I brought today was that Microsoft has introduced beta 4 of what are called the Azure Management Libraries. Now we're getting down here. We're getting down deep. But if you want to actually write software that talks to Azure, software that, say, deploys VMs automatically or connects to various and sundry resources in Azure, you have to have a way to do that. You have to have some sort of libraries to make that work. And over the last several months and years, Microsoft's had these management libraries. But this beta 4 is really, really nice. There is a one-line capability to create a web app. There is a one-line capability to create an Azure SQL database. I mean,
Wow.
it is really hot stuff. And so what I'm hoping is that this beta 4, I'm hoping it'll some point get out of beta, even though almost everybody uses the beta libraries in production.
Right.
This is a great opportunity for there to be much more compact code, much more powerful code, and these libraries are top-notch stuff. You can get it on the Microsoft GitHub. You can find a link. Just go look for beta 4 Azure Management Libraries, and it'll pop right up.
We can ask Alan to put it in the show notes.
You
It'll
bet.
be in the links at the bottom.
We got to give him something to do because he's in there sleeping right now, it looks like. So
no kidding. Pretty cool stuff. Also in the news, more from a Microsoft organizational, we saw some stuff about different people leaving the organization these days. Still, everybody's going through restructuring in some fit or fashion, but somebody who left that wasn't necessarily part of that, as far as I understand, but a great guy, great friend, is James Staten. Forrester analyst, spent a couple of years now at Microsoft, has left to move over to Equinix. And helping them,
interesting.
helping them with some of their strategic partnerships and other amazing things. But best of luck to James Staten and where he heads off to. So hopefully, we use a lot of Equinix here as well.
We
Hopefully
do. I'm sure we'll see him again.
Paths will cross again, but he was a GM over strategy, reporting, I believe, into Guthrie in the Azure and server and tools team. So pretty cool stuff. All right. Now, from a main topic perspective, notice how I subtly went into the segue.
That's a great segue.
I am nothing if not subtle. Just ask my wife. We don't have a main topic today. We just have a placeholder.
We are the main topic.
We are the main. We are the main topic.
We're it. You're looking at it.
Hey, Kent.
Hey, Jeff.
Okay, now let's just explain this real quick while Kent's in pause. You see, when we present together, oftentimes when something important happens, I will say, "Hey, Kent."
Hey, Jeff.
And then I'll say a pun because I love puns and my 14-year-old loves them as well. And that is your little trigger that, hey, that was an important thing that they just said right there. And it was a really dumb pun, but that pun is going to help you remember. So let's practice. Next week, be smooth like butter. Hey, Kent.
Hey, Jeff.
Did you hear about the butcher who backed up into the meat grinder?
No.
Oh, yeah. He got a little behind in his work. Hey, can we get sound things where we can push the button?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a good idea.
All right. So
I can think of only one sound that we need. So
we are going to create merit badges. You guys get one today because you lived through the first one of these webcasts. A badge of honor or shame has yet to be determined, but we're glad that you're here today. So this is our thing. This is what we're going to do. We're going to come here. We're here next week, and then every other Wednesday at 1 o'clock Central will be live, and then syndicated everywhere syndications are cool, and because it keeps changing,
Yeah, and you're gonna want to watch every episode, even if you're not live. You're gonna want to see everything.
Yeah. So Ken and I, we're creating our own artwork. You see it right here.
Absolutely.
Oh wait, next week you'll see all that artwork right there.
Right.
Going to be some sound, music. We're
musicians. It's gonna be more than me just playing musical spoons. I'm just saying
if we don't have it, I'm bringing a guitar.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's just us hanging out talking about cloud. We really do hope that you'll make it next week. The infamous, more than famous, Todd Clint will be here as we talk about identity and identity strategies in the cloud world. So any parting thoughts, Kent?
Nope, this is going to be fun.
I'm excited.
Yep.
Whether nobody watches. I think my mom might be watching. Or
really?
No, not my wife. She's shopping. There's a sale at Dillard's today. Literally, you think I'm joking? But glad you were here. I'm glad to be here, Kent. This is the natural outflow of the conversations we've been having for 11 years.
Yep.
Now we're just going to torture somebody else to listen to them with us.
You got it.
Awesome. We are the Cloudists. I'm Jeff DeVerter.
I'm Kent Kingery.
And we're just here to talk about cloud stuff.
And we'll see you next week.